Hello everybody. How are you today? Welcome back. I am back. And today I'm actually going to be talking to you this evening about 6 top chemicals that could be in your sunscreen or could be harming you, you and your children this summer. Now, I'm a huge advocate for sunscreen. I'm a huge advocate for, knowing what is in your ingredients, those fun things. So if you're watching me for the first time, my name is Crystal Spink, and this may be for you. Maybe it's not. Maybe you already knew this information. Maybe you'll learn something new today. So how many of you wear sunscreen in the summertime? So I do know there's a lot of people. I was one of them. I never wore sunscreen. I spent from the age of 16 to the age of 27, 29, never wearing sunscreen. Not only did I have a scare with a skin cancer, but I had some severe melasma and some damage. It has reversed. It's not 100%, but I'm working on it every single day. So today we're going to talk about that and how you can prevent it and reverse it. So we're going to start with the 6 top chemicals. Okay, these are chemicals that you can find on the back of any sunscreen. You just flip it over. It's right there. Okay, this is my Evian bottle, but all you have to do is just pull it back here. It'll show you ingredients, and they usually say the first 5 ingredients that you find are the most important ingredients that are the most inside. So you want to really pay attention to those. Be your own advocate. So the first one that I want to talk about is avibenzone. Okay, so avibenzone is AVO benzone. It's actually a sunscreen agent that offers protection from UVA and UVB rays. However, it breaks down within 30 minutes, so they have to add a chemical agent into that to make it last longer under the sun. So I guess let me first and foremost talk to you about chemical versus mineral. Okay, so chemical-based sunscreen, you're not going to find a lot of chemical-based sunscreens that have UVA and UVB protection. You always want to look for a broad spectrum. If typically with chemical-based, you're only going to find one that does UVA or UVB. Okay, if it does tell you that it is broad spectrum, you really have to dig in there, be your own advocate, and make sure you're looking at those ingredients, because I have been the type that even if it says sulfate or paraben free, I'll look at it, and if I don't research it, I will find a chemical in there. So that happened to me with deodorant a couple weeks ago. I was totally swipe-sided by it. I couldn't believe it. Okay, so avibenzone is the number 1. So we have chemical, which can only protect you against one, UVA or UVB. They can't be together. Chemical-based sunscreen soaks into your skin. Okay? Chemical-based sunscreen soaks in your skin. Whatever you put on your skin, it takes 20 to 25 seconds for it to get into your bloodstream. Now, chemical-based has to get inside of your skin, because then it soaks in the UVA or the UVB rays. That's why you'll find that you will burn easier. You have to reapply more frequently. You'll notice that kids may get skin irritations. You may notice that kids may get heat rashes, those things, because it's in their bloodstream. Mineral-based sunscreen, okay? And what you'll want to look for ingredient-wise is oxybenzone, not oxybenzone, zinc oxide. Sorry guys, it's been a long day. Zinc oxide is what you want to look for when you're looking for a mineral base. Mineral base can always be a broad spectrum for the most part. Probably about 99.9% all of mineral base are broad spectrums. Now, even though it says it's mineral based, you still want to make sure you're looking at those excuse me, add those ingredients, because sometimes they can flam you and they can tell you, but if you're not your own advocate, you need to make sure that you are looking at those ingredients, okay? So avibenzone is the first chemical that you will find in chemical-based sunscreens. And again, it's made to make the sunscreen last longer. They have to add a chemical to it to extend that. Otherwise, it would soak in and it would be gone within 30 minutes. So they have to add a chemical to it. Okay, so it can be hugely detrimental. The next one is homoslate, which is actually endocrine disruptor. Now, you guys are going to hear me say endocrine disruptor a couple of times while I'm on here. And maybe you're unfamiliar with what an endocrine disruptor is. Endocrine system is very crucial for teens and for women and for men and for all ages. But it's crucial for teens because that is what helps them during puberty, okay? Women, your endocrine system is super important because that's what gets you into menopause. That's what changes your hormones, okay? Men as well, testosterone, prostate, all of that stuff. So this is for everybody. So homoslate is an endocrine disruptor, okay? It actually has been restricted in Japan because it's due to safety and encouragement of hot to those who are during their pregnancy. So it actually can hurt a woman while she is in pregnancy. It can disrupt your hormones. I want you guys to take thought here. If you know that you're repeatedly putting a chemical-based sunscreen on your teen, a lot of people I've been seeing, I even know like a family friend case where we had a family friend whose daughter started her period in 5th grade. Okay. Now I'm not saying it's because of that. It's a lot of the hormones and chemicals and toxic things that we're finding in our products. That's food, that's chemical based in sunscreens, makeup, skincare, hair products, all of that stuff. Not only is it causing girls to go through puberty faster, to go and receive breastises sooner. Also, it's causing boys to go through puberty. It's causing severe acne with teens that are going through puberty. Women are hitting menopause faster. And here's the big one, guys. Infertility issues in men and in women. When you're taking something that is an endocrine disruptor, you are surface level hitting all of those. So by you using that, you are getting yourself in any one of those categories. If you've been struggling with infertility issues, I am prime example. We had infertility issues with my daughter. I had to do infertility treatments for a year. We've been doing infertility treatments for a year now for conceiving another baby. Infertility is counteractive with chemicals. So anything that's an endocrine disruptor is going to disrupt adult or young adult or children endocrine systems, which is super important. This chemical is compared to pesticides and bug sprays. Now, if you were in my event, you would have seen DEET, which is in bug sprays. DEET is so bad that if you spray it on a cookie sheet, it will bubble it off of there and you can just wipe it right off. Okay, DEET is very scary. So this particular ingredient in sunblock is equivalent to pesticides, which can disrupt your endocrine system, causing infertility, children to reach puberty faster, girls getting periods faster, women hitting menopause faster, men having infertility issues, prostate issues. That all works with it. The next one is octo or lean. Okay. Now, if you don't understand any of these and you want them written down, just shoot me a message and I can get you these. This one is actually a chemical that's used to stabilize the avibenzone, okay? And remember, avibenzone was the #1 chemical. So octoroline is used to stabilize oxybenzone. And remember, oxybenzone gets broken down in 30 minutes, and so they had to add a chemical to it to make it stay on your skin and in your bloodstream longer. Okay, so it's actually a photosynthesizer, which means that it is increasing the amount of free radicals in your skin when you're exposed to UVB and UVA light. So what does that mean, a photosynthesizer? So what that means is, as I was saying before, chemical based, it soaks into your skin. So it's going to not protect you, and free radicals are what is going to keep you looking younger. Free radicals is like smoke, sun, steam, anything that can disrupt the aging process. So it's anything. So we have all these free radicals in our body. As we start to age, they slow down, okay? And they tend to separate. When we're young, they're together. These free radicals are together, okay? And they move around and they're together. As we start to age, they pull apart. They become very vulnerable, and they're very weak, and they're by themselves. And so when we have chemicals going in our body, we have UVB and UVA rays, it can hit that free radical and then it kills it. Okay, so that's what the photosynthesize means, is that you're more susceptible to burning, which then is a free radical and is going to damage your skin and cause the aging process. Okay, so that is the third one. Let's see here. Number 3 is octocrylene, and it's also referred to as octinoxate and oxybenzene. Oxybenzene is one of the biggest. Benzene and benzone is one of the biggest chemicals you will find in sunscreen. It's actually a hormone disruptor, like the homoslate. Let's see here. It also causes serious hormonal shifts in men and women, children, affecting estrogen and testosterone production. So here we go again, an endocrine disruptor affecting men's testosterone, their sperm count, their fertility, women, their fertility, pushing them to go into menopause faster. Here we have girls going to periods faster, releasing eggs earlier. If you're unfamiliar, which I could give you a year's education of infertility information, but women only have an X amount of eggs. Once we start that period when they're younger, they could run out before they're even ready to start having children. And what's speeding that process up is chemicals. So that is a really big thing to advocate for yourself. What are things that I can be more aware of, that I just have to make a little change in taking this chemical-based sunscreen, throwing it out, and getting a mineral-based that doesn't have any of that, right? And that's where it comes in, where people are like, well, look at foods, look at chemicals and plants and with pesticides on them. So, I mean, it's just all around changing everything. But little by little changes makes a huge difference. So we have avibenzone, homoslate, oxycrylene, and then we have oxybenzene, benzone as well. Okay. Oh, it just kills me how I didn't know any of this years ago until I started going through infertility about 3-4 years ago. And I completely made this adjustment, not only in skincare, cosmetics, hair products, all of that stuff. But I want you guys to know that anything that you make a change is a step in the right direction. Also, one of the biggest things that I like people to remember is that mineral-based sunscreen equals coral reef safe, okay? So how does this affect us, right? So we eat animals from the ocean. We eat fish, we eat shrimp, we eat all these different animals. We eat shellfish, we eat clams, we eat, what is that stuff that people eat? It's so gross. Squid. People eat, I can't think of the thing that you can open and you could just, it's slimy. I can't think of it. Maybe it'll come to my name. But when you're putting a chemical base with all these toxins in it, okay, that I've gone through, these impartial, imperative chemicals, okay, and you're putting them into the ocean, and you're like, well, how are you putting it into the ocean? Well, you're going swimming in the ocean, you're taking a shower, which then goes into the water system, which then comes out, okay? So we as humans have to be aware that what we put on our body also goes into the ocean life. So choosing a mineral-based sunscreen is going to be coral reef safe. Now, why is that important? Not only for you to keep the chemicals off of you when we sit with all those hormone disruptors, but it affects sea life, DNA damage. It actually causes ocean life to have developmental abnormalities in their offspring and adverse reproductive effects. So it's the same thing it does to us as humans if we use chemical-based sunscreen or bug spray, okay? But here's the thing. Let's say that you're using mineral-based and you think everything's good and great, right? But you're eating fish, salmon, squid, whatever, shrimp. Is that from a coral reef safe animal, right? So a lot of us eat grass-fed meat. That's all we eat in this house is grass-fed meat. We get it from a guy that we went to college with in Iowa, where we're from, and it's grass-fed, and it doesn't have any hormones. It hasn't been fed or put anything to speed up its process. It's natural. So I encourage you, if that's how you are proactive with your meat, think about that and that aspect, that if we're putting that chemical on our body and then we put it into the river or the ocean, it's affecting what we eat as well, right? If you think about it, some people eat bears eat fish. If fish have toxic chemicals in them, it gets in the bear, and then they get the bear, and then they butcher the bear, and then people eat bear. Same with deer. Same with all of that. It's a circle of life, right? So it in any way it's going to affect, and the more that we're aware of what we're doing, then, it's really super important. One other fact I wanted to give you was, avibenzone, which was the first chemical I talked about, it actually has a toxic reaction when it hits chlorine. So one of the things that I was kind of looking at, we went to the pool a couple weeks ago with my sister-in-law, and I was watching all of these parents putting it on there. And there was kids that were getting really bad sunburn. They were only there for like maybe an hour. And their moms were like, oh, we got to go. You're already starting to get sunburn. It's because some of these toxic chemicals that are in these sunscreens are having a chemical reaction with the chlorine. A lot of these that are put in these sunscreens are not made for chlorine. They're not made to be mixed with that. They just put whatever in there that's going to preserve it, make it last longer, make it soak into your skin, and that's it. And that's the hard truth. It's the hard truth. And some of this, people might be like, oh, well, this will never happen to me. Well, to be honest with you, I used to use chemical-based sunscreen for many, many years until I became educated. And I really started looking at ingredients and started being like, oh my gosh, like this little thing here, even though it says it's mineral-based, this little chemical right here, and some people have said to me before, you have way too much time on your hands. No, actually I don't. I just like to advocate for myself, because if I don't advocate for myself, nobody else is going to advocate for me, especially when it comes to paraben-free, sulfate-free, mineral-based, everything. Okay, so not only are these chemicals found in just sunscreens, they're found in beauty products, they're found in skincare. For example, I used to purchase like a foundation and sunscreen that were together. All of those chemicals were in it. Now I just use like a perfect sunscreen that has 30 SPF in it, but it has zinc oxide. Zinc oxide is what you want to look for when you're looking for a mineral-based sunscreen. Now, why zinc oxide? So again, chemical versus mineral. Chemical, we like to call it nano, which means that it's got the chemical in it. And then we have mineral-based, which is non-nano, means no chemical, right? So zinc oxide. The one that I use just for my face is 19% zinc oxide. It also has natural ingredients in it that mimic retinol, because normal retinol would cause your skin to be photosynthesized, meaning it could burn in the sun. But I have a natural, which is called chikarcari root, and it mimics retinol, so it tightens and tones and helps keep my skin from aging. And that's what I use all summer on my face to prevent like the melasma mask. You know, when you're in the sun, you get the melasma mask. So a lot of people say to me, well, how do I reverse all of this? How do I stop it? How do I prevent and reverse? The first thing I always recommend is getting a good skincare system. You want to find a skincare system that's for your specific skin type. A lot of people are walking around and they don't even know what their skin type is. Maybe it's just what they've always known. So getting an assessment for your skin type, getting a good SPF for your face, and for your body and for your kids. It's super important. And that's why I love this facial perfect sunscreen, because that's what's been a lifesaver for me in the summertime. I don't wear a lot of makeup, but I love wearing the facial SPF because it has not only prevented the damage, but it's also working with the chikarcari root to help with wrinkles and fine lines. The next thing that I recommend is finding yourself a really good serum. And so we talked a little bit about the duo here. And so Sotox and One Drop Wonder. If you're dealing with hyperpigmentation, hypopigmentation, redness, wrinkles, scarring from acne, if you're dealing with rosacea, eczema, psoriasis, these are going to be a game changer for you. And so find yourself a good serum, okay? A natural serum. This is a natural lightener. It lightens, tightens, and brightens, which means that it has fungi mushroom in it, which is a natural lightener. It mimics Botox without the toxicity, okay? So it lightens, tightens, and brightens. And then I pair it with our One Drop Wonder, which is actually made by Pomifera oil. Okay, so this is paraben free, but it's a carrier oil, okay? It's for anybody who struggles with burns, cuts, scrapes, eczema, rosacea, acne, diaper rash, you name it. You can put it on anything, right? We call this like first aid cream in our house, our first aid stuff. So I drop it into my Sotox, that's equivalent to Botox, and it's a carrier oil, so it sucks everything in. So if you're looking to reverse and prevent, these two are your jam, okay? So those are a little bit of what I talked about today. I know some people can be super overwhelmed. You're like, oh my gosh, like this is way too much. So we talked a little bit about how to prevent and how to reverse, okay? So during the day, you really want to learn how to prevent, and at nighttime, you really want to learn to reverse, okay? So if you have any questions, if you're like, I don't know my skin type, I'm not sure, I don't know what this ingredient is, can you help me? Just shoot me a message or comment down below and I'll be happy to give you any information for free. There's no pressure, there's no nothing. I'm here to help and I'm here to educate. So I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time.